500 pole qualifying is sponsored by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Thanks for spending your Sunday afternoon with us. NASCAR on Fox. The weather in the 70s, sunny here in Daytona. Translation, it's great out there. And Joey Logano will be the last guy to qualify, or at least try to win the pole for the Daytona 500 after finishing first earlier today in the class. So let's head back up to Jeff Gordon, Darrell Waltrip, and Mike Joy.
Thanks, Chris. The track is open for the first of 2 rounds of qualifying. And the cars will proceed in the inverse order of their practice speeds. Jeffrey Earnhardt will be out there first. He'll make the first run. And Joey Logano will be last. At the end of the first round, we'll take a 10-minute break. The fastest 12 cars in round 1 will then compete for the pole. Earnhardt attempting his first start in what is now the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series at Daytona. First Daytona start. He did run 22 races last year with the best finish of 26th. Circle Sport Racing, Pat Trice and the crew chief.
Yeah, Mike, just a point of reference here. Last year's pole, 45.845 seconds, 196.314 miles per hour by Chase Elliott. I don't know, Jeff. Think we'll get anywhere near that today?
Well, it's interesting, DW, because yesterday the wind was blowing down the back straightaway as a tailwind, and we seem to think that that gives the teams a little more speed because it helps them get up to speed a little bit faster. But today seems to be blowing the opposite way, so I don't know if that's going to be conducive to those types of speeds that we saw last year. Not to mention we got a little bit smaller restrictor plate on the cars this year.
Now we'll lock in the front row for the 500 today. Everyone else their starting spot will depend on their finish in the 150-mile dual races on Thursday that you'll see live on FS1. There are 36 teams guaranteed into the race because they have the NASCAR team charters, and there are 6 teams that we call open teams that have to earn their way into the 500, either by being the fastest 2 of those 6 teams today or by racing their way in on Thursday. Jeffrey Earnhardt, 48.71 is the first time up. Here is Port Tobacco, Maryland's Timmy Hill. He'll be the second driver on the clock. Rick Ware racing, Carlos Contreras, the crew chief, and Timmy's attempting to make his first Daytona Cup start. He finished 34th last year at Dover.
Yeah, I was just going to say Jeffrey Earnhardt picked up a couple of tenths there from his practice speed yesterday, 48.93, so he picked up a tad, which is what you kind of want to do if it's possible.
And we spoke yesterday in practice as these cars were preparing for this qualifying session today, just how close, hundreds of seconds between the top 10, 13 positions. Well, it's a tight battle among these cars that are trying to qualify their way just into making the Daytona 500 as well.
And Timmy Hill is one of those 6 open cars hopeful of a Daytona 500 starting berth. And all of those 6 will run within the first 11 cars in the order. 48.88 for Timmy Hill.
And just like Jeffrey Earnhardt picked up speed, Timmy Hill did not. So that actually flip-flopped them from practice, which could make this interesting.
Down the front stretch, 8,100 RPM for Timmy Hill. We've been seeing 8,300 yesterday from a number of cars. Here is Corey LaJoie, 3rd-generation driver, who is also one of those 6 open teams. His grandfather, Don LaJoie, the kingpin at the Danbury, Connecticut Race Arena. His father, Randy, a champion of NASCAR's Busch Series, now the Xfinity Series. So here's Corey driving for BK Racing. Doug Richard, the crew chief, one of the 7 drivers trying to make their first Daytona 500.
Did you say Doug Richard? Oh boy, there's a name that goes back a long way.
Yeah, at the age of, I think, 19, he crew chiefed Dale Earnhardt Jr., or Dale Earnhardt to his first Cup championship.
19.
Kid from California.
Experience means a lot here, Daytona.
He was Michael's crew chief last year, I think, also, when he drove one of the BK cars.
Quickest so far, Corey LaJoie, 48.58. Now, of the 6 open teams, 2 of them know they will race into the 500 by those qualifying times, if not earn a better position on Thursday. And the 2 slowest of the 6 open teams will know that their only chance to make the race will be to race in on Thursday. This is Canadian DJ Kennington, attempting his first Daytona Cup start. Gaunt Brothers Racing, this is a Marty Gaunt Triad power plant underneath the hood of this Toyota. He's trying to make his first Daytona Cup race. He has 3 Xfinity races at Daytona with the best finish of 17th.
Yeah, a couple of guys were telling me they thought this car was pretty much a shoe-in to make it. It's good body on this car, and it's got a real good engine under the hood, and should have pretty decent speed.
In practice yesterday, he ran a couple of tenths faster than what we saw to LaJoy and Timmy Hill and Earnhardt. So curious to see if he backs that up. A little wide off of turn 4
got up off the
there.
turn 4. Well, that cost him a little time.
And he's quickest, 48.17 for DJ Kennington.
A little quicker than his best lap yesterday.
Reed Sorensen, Joey Gase, and Michael Waltrip coming up.